So I'm January. I go on social media by JS Art, and I have been, well, like most artists, I've been drawing since I was a kid. But I really started getting into comics around like 5-6 years ago. I was actually studying molecular biology. I was actually studying for medical school, but thought of being a doctor for the rest of my life really scared me, and it's not something I wanted to do. But I really love art. I really love telling stories through pictures. And that's kind of what I did in my free time throughout my university years. And so after I got my degree, I was like, I think I'm going to go into art instead. And so that's kind of where I started really creating comics. Okay, so for today's session, I just have like a rough, short demo to show you guys. So I'm just going to go through my process for how I would create like a very short comic strip using Bailin and Li Yun as the subject. So my the first step to creating a strip would be like the idea, right? And this is the part I can't really show you guys because it usually involves me lying in my bed or zoning out in the supermarket, kind of playing through scenarios in my head. And that could take anywhere from a week to like a minute. And so for the idea that I came up for today, I'm just gonna do something very simple where, let's see, Li Yun's feeding something to Bailin, introducing him to human food, right? So he's a mermaid, so I would say he'd try the human version of fish. So I would say sushi, and I'm just gonna do like a very short 3-panel comic where, let's see, like a thumbnail. This is Li Yun, and this is Bailin. This is how my roughs usually look like. It's very, very rough. So he's feeding him with chopsticks. Here's the sushi. And then Bailin opens his mouth. And we need a punchline if this is a comedy. So the punchline is Bailin does not know what part of this is food, so he's gonna chomp the whole thing, and including the chopsticks. So that's gonna be the punchline. And Li Yun's gonna be really shocked. So the second part is usually either a script. I usually write out a script if it's a very long comic strip, or I just go straight to thumbnails like this. And this part is really useful because sometimes I would think of an idea, and if I don't write it down in either a script format or a thumbnail format, I usually forget it in a day or two. So once this is done, then I can just jump straight into the sketch or the roughs, the draft section. Okay, so I just kind of rough out 3 panels, right? Actually, usually I use Clip Studio, right? And Clip Studio is really focused, specialized for comic drawing, which is really nice because, like for example, I can really quickly create panels, and I don't have to use rulers like I would doing Photoshop. There, so that's 3 panels. And then I can go straight away into sketching. So start with Li Yun. And usually when I start drawing faces or heads, I start with a circle, and then I kind of eyeball the face. I think the panels are a bit too long, so I'm just gonna adjust this. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Li Yun. He's like, open up, Bailin. hair. Actually, I never actually put much thought into designing Li Yun, so I actually kind of hate his hairstyle now. But I can't do anything about it because this is how he's recognized as Li Yun now. I wish I could change his hairstyle, but I mean, Bailin and Li Yun was started as a really quick kind of a thing for Mermaid one year, and then I don't know, it was very well received, so I decided to turn it into a comic. So yeah, that's why I never really thought much about the designs of these characters. It was like something really rough. So that's Li Yun. I feel like the angle's kind of bad. The ears should be closer at this angle. Yeah. Okay. And then I will draw Bailin. I like using different colors to sketch out characters. So, especially when characters are overlapping in a panel, this helps me, keep track of where the characters are. Okay, so I always draw the eyes first because they're kind of like my landmarks for a face. And usually the first sketch never turns out right, so I have to kind of edit it along the way. He's gonna be looking down. And okay, it's kind of weird, but the general vibe of his face is there, so that's all I need for now. So the first panel, Bailin is just kind of acknowledging the existence of the fish here. I'm just gonna draw that later. I don't know how many of you was there 3 years ago when I first drew Bailin, but he looks a little bit different than he does now. I added this, heart shape. I don't know what it's called. This bit on his hair, and I kind of gave him like fake ears because it's cute. His face is too big. No, actually, just to spice it up a bit, because first panel I'm actually going to change it to Li Yun's face. So I'm just going to keep these sketches for if they're useful later. So first panel I'm actually going to I'm going to switch it to Li Yun's face here, actually. Yes. Yeah, this is how rough my comic process is. Like sometimes I discard entire ideas halfway through the process because you gotta do what's best for the art, Yeah, don't be afraid of, what is it? Kill your darlings? I think that's the term. Okay, so he means like, hey man, I want you to try human food because I can't give you raw fish all the time. I gotta find a way to make spiky hair attractive. I don't know. He's supposed to be a professor, but he just kind of looks like a jock in high school. Okay. This is a bit too big. Bailin's not going to have any room to show in this panel. So I'm gonna make him smaller. He's gonna be wearing stereotypical dad clothes with a shirt and a sweater. He's gonna be holding chopsticks. Okay, so this is the worst part. I'm like using a picture of my own hands holding chopsticks as reference right now. You guys can't see it, but and this is the, if any of you are chopstick snobs, this is the correct way of holding chopsticks. Perspective's gonna be a bit difficult with chopsticks, but just kind of have the idea here first. This is sashimi. I'll make this sashimi. Let's see. Okay. His anatomy looks weird. One of the best things an artist should invest in is like a small mirror on your table, so you can easily figure out anatomy. All right, so that looks kind of close to what I want. Tilt his head a bit. All right, okay, so then I'm gonna draw Bailin on a different panel, different layer. Cause, okay, see, when you flip something, he just suddenly looks slanted, like he's tilted. So I usually have to do this to make it like, you know, he doesn't look like he's, you know, in a funny mirror. Okay, so usually I draw characters on different layers because, you know, I can adjust them around easily. Here's Bailin. Okay. His flower ears. I still haven't decided why they're shaped like that. There must be a biological evolutionary reason for the way they're shaped, but I haven't thought of it yet. Okay. Let's see. Sometimes I feel lazy, and when that happens and it's not that important, I just draw dot eyes for them. Because I like them, they're cute. Okay. Raw fish. Yes, today is an exception for raw fish. I ate raw fish yesterday too. So, alright, here's his fake ears. We want the focus to be the sashimi, so I'm gonna bring Li Yun a bit to the side, so the sashimi is more visible, or you would focus on more. Okay, yes. And then yes, this, now we can get to the next panel. So I saved the sketches because I never know when some of it might be useful for later on. So this angle, like the camera is this way right now, and now this camera is this way. So now I can use this profile of Li Yun. Just edit it a bit to make him look better. And then I need to draw his hand. Sometimes the sketches are distracting, so I would turn this Bailin off so I can focus on my drawing. Okay. This hand's too big. This is one problem I frequently make. One mistake I frequently make is drawing the hands too big, like yaoi hands or whatever they're called. So anatomy proportions, it's something you have to keep working on. Okay. So Bailin's already acknowledged the existence of the fish in the previous panel, so he needs to have a different expression here. Everyone is too big in these panels. I gotta make him smaller. Okay. So in this panel, I'm gonna make Bailin ready to eat this. Which means he needs to be leaning forward. Adam's apple. And then the angle of his face is a bit off. Do I need to redraw the whole thing? Even though I said, you know, don't be afraid to kill your darlings, for economic reasons, I still try my best to save as much as I can. There's only so much time. Yeah, he should be facing a bit more towards us. Okay, heart-shaped mouth open. He's ready to eat this sashimi. Li Yun's face still looks a bit flat here, so I'm gonna just feel like his Li Yun's face is wrong somehow, and I can't see why. Sometimes when this happens, I just erase everything, but I don't have that much time. Chin's too pointy. Alright, I can fix it when I start lining. Okay, so the last panel is the punchline. And the punchline has to be very clear. So the general look of the last panel, I want it to look similar to the second one. So let's see which one. Okay, so I'm still gonna recycle this guy. This panel, and yeah, I like recycling things. It's good for the earth. Okay, so Bailin's gonna be chopping down on both the sashimi and the chopstick. So part of the chopstick is gonna be, you know, it's gonna disappear. So I need to make sure that this chopstick is long. It's like obvious. Like the first thing you see when you get to the last panel is that the chopstick's obviously shorter. The only thing I need to change here is Li Yun's expression. And at this angle, you can't really see much of it, so you're gonna have to exaggerate. And that's how I exaggerate. Yes. Li Yun's shocked. I would be too. Alright, so now we're gonna draw, oh yeah, I can recycle this as well, which is great. Paste. And then all you have to do is give Bailin a different expression. Okay. Okay, so this part is gonna be like you gotta hit the right amount of comedy, and sometimes it's hard when you stare at like your own drawings for so long. You kind of lose the sense of what it looks like to people who have never seen it. How should I? Okay, he's gonna be closing his eyes, and it's gonna be cartoony. So I could try to do, you know, like an actual drawn out face, but I don't think it'll be as funny. We can try it. No, it's not as funny, so I'm not even gonna complete that. Let's see. Okay, so just gonna keep more of that heart-shaped mouth, and then he's gonna be showing his mermaid teeth. So it's actually canon, quote unquote, in this world that Bailin has like very sharp teeth, like shark teeth, and you only see it when he's like showing them, when I decide to show them. So this is a good panel to show his teeth. There we go. Okay, so make it more obvious that his chopstick, oh no, when you draw on the wrong layer, it's painful. I have to go back to fixing it. But this is why it's so good to draw things on different layers. Don't be afraid to use like a million layers. It's better to be able to find things, like waste time trying to find it, than having to erase everything and redraw the parts that you need. That's my philosophy. All right, so to show him chomping on the chopsticks, sorry, there's gonna be bits of chopsticks flying out. Yeah. Add some verbal effects. Hope I spelled that right. Say no. Yes, say Okay, so that's pretty much it. That is my sketch. And usually I would sit on it for maybe a day or two. If I'm not completely satisfied, just in case, in those 2 days, I might come up with a new idea or a better idea, or I can tweak it even more. Yeah, but we don't have 2 days, so I'm just gonna go straight into lining it.
Real quick, January, I don't want to mess with your flow, like watching magic happen. And I was wondering if you could maybe, as you jump into inking, explain some of the differences in the brushes that you prefer for sketching, into inks, colors.
Sure.
I think the crowd would love that. But this has been awesome so far. We're just amazed.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, sure. So I just put all of my sketches into one layer so I can control them better. Multiply them, and okay, so now I can talk about brushes. So trying to find this panel. Okay, so first panel, I have a bazillion different brushes, as you can see here, and some of them were free, some of them I purchased, and some of them I stole from work, so I cannot share them because I don't remember where each of them are from. This is the one I use for Bailin and Li Yun. It's called oil pastel, but it looks like pencil. Like it's a lot like pencil. It's like really nice pencil. So I really like the way this, like, it's grainy, but you can make it really solid if you wanted to. So it gives me good control. And it's also like, if you can see, it's slanted. It has a shape to it. So there's a thick and thin to it. So it can keep your lines dynamic and interesting to look at. Let's see, like, this is the brush I primarily use for this comic, but I have lots of other brushes that I like to use for different purposes. Like, this is a very simple kind of like the round brush that you find in Photoshop or Clip Studio or whatever. But I just kind of elongated it. And this is what I use for painting. Like, I don't know how to explain why I prefer this, but it gives me really good control with the opacity. And it's very simple, so I can kind of, like, I don't need to worry about the texture. I can add the texture later. Another brush I like to use for painting is this. It's called pencil, but as you can see, I can control the opacity really nicely. So when I and it has a texture. It's really nice. Sometimes if I use this brush right, I can create a sort of watercolor effect. And then you use, you know, blur, and then that's really nice, right? It looks like traditional painting almost. Let's see, calligraphy. Okay, this brush I think I made this myself because I just wanted a really good calligraphy brush. I really like yeah, so something I wanted to sign my name in, I made this brush. But sometimes I use this for line art, for you know those traditional like Chinese paintings. This is a good brush to use to line those kind of artworks. Yeah, but let's see what else. Nope. Oh, yes, I like this brush too for lining things. I have not been able to... Actually, no, I can show you guys. Let me see. So, sometimes... Okay, so for this brush, I really want to use this brush, but I can never, like, find the right occasion for it. So I started this new comic to use this brush, and as you can see, it's really nice, right? This is a very different style, but this is just, I literally just use this brush because I wanted to create a comic with this kind of style, this watercolory style. Anyway, but it's a very different story, it's a very different vibe, which is why this brush works for that other comic and not so much for Bailin and Li Yun. Okay, so yes, let's go back to my main brush, my favorite brush, my safe brush. Okay, I don't know why, I generally don't like black when I'm lining things. I don't know, it's too strong, it's too much for me. This is an exception because this is supposed to be like oh no, even this has, like, it's kind of brown, right? I don't really use solid black colors. And I really like this reddish brown, so I just kind of stuck with it. Lining is the easiest part. I'm not very careful with it. I don't have a lot of patience, so I need to get everything right in the sketch. Okay. Bailin and Li Yun is sort of like I wanted it to be more, like those really nice, fancy manga, and so it started as a simple style, and now it's got to stick as a simple style.
This has been absolutely amazing, though, and you blew people's minds when you showed your other comic. Is this an upcoming series on Webtoon, or where could we find that other comic? I think we're all fans of all your series.
Thank you. You guys are the first ones to see that. Yes, wow. I had not planned on showing it, but because of that brush question, I was like, you know what? Why not? And that comic, it's an old. I came up with this idea in 2019, and I've always wanted to tell this story, but only now do I feel confident about doing so. I have no plans yet to make it into a comic on Webtoon, but if I do, I will definitely be announcing it somewhere. So, yes.
Wonderful. I'm so inspired that you developed a comic because you wanted to use a brush. What an artist motivation. You got to find a purpose for it, right?
Yes, there's sometimes like you buy something and you really want to use it, right? And so you make up a purpose, make up a reason to use it.
It's the same as kind of buying a new kind of paint or something. You have to give yourself a moment with it. Beautiful.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to go back off screen, but this is such an amazing session.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys find it entertaining at least. Okay. Yes. This pencil brush is so satisfying. I just love lining this. Like I am a very impatient person, so usually when I come up with an idea, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to actually have to draw it. I wish I could press a button and then the finished page would just appear, because it's the funnest part to come up with the idea, and then the drawing part is the labor-intensive part. But this pencil, when you find the right brush, like it makes the lining part fun. Okay, this thumb is going to cause me trouble. For Bailin and Li Yun, sometimes I'm just like not too worried about having a wrong anatomy or whatever, because it's first and foremost supposed to be a comedy. So the idea should come across. That's the most important part. So if the anatomy is kind of wonky, but the first glance you understand the comic, then I'm probably not going to bother refining it further. Okay. Yes, so this hand was actually the reason I drew it so quickly, relatively speaking, is because I took a photo of my hand holding chopsticks like this. Otherwise, no, I'm not that. I can't picture certain angles of my hand that well, because you don't look at your hand in this angle. Like, you're focused on eating, you don't look at your hand like this. But that's why cameras are such an amazing invention. Okay. Floppy sashimi. There will be an upcoming chapter about well, actually upcoming chapters about Bailin discovering human food. So yes, please keep an eye out for that. Those were really fun to draw. Sometimes I forget to flip, and then I'm just like, this looks wrong. Okay.
I know you've noticed that you're mirror imaging a lot during your drawing practice.
Yes.
Yeah, This is something that a lot of professional artists do. Can you maybe walk the group through why that's so important for your process? Does it help you balance the figures?
Sure, yeah. Yes, balance. So when you see something in a certain way, you get used to how it looks. So sometimes the flaws, any wonky part, it will, like, since your eyes get used to it, you kind of don't see those flaws. like, you know, when you look at your face in the mirror, for those who don't have symmetrical faces, you're looking at your face in the mirror and you're like, this looks fine. But then if you take a photo of your face in the mirror, you're like, who is this person? And that's kind of the same idea here. So when you flip your canvas, like frequently, it provides a new kind of perspective on your arts, on your drawing. And because your brain has to get used to, again, this new way of looking at your drawing, it will catch all the little details that you missed, the flaws that you want to fix, or the way it doesn't look right. And like also your hand has a certain slant to it. Like I'm right-handed, so when I draw lines, this is the first angle that I usually like to draw in. And so that means when I line work, sometimes my lines will kind of angle towards this angle without me even knowing it. And then when I look at the actual drawing flipped, I can see that, oh, like things sometimes look like this and I need to fix it. So yeah. This is one of the perks of digital art, because you can flip your canvas easily. If you're drawing traditionally, what I do is I just go to the mirror and I hold up my drawing to the mirror and kind of look at the mirror that way.
That's a great tip.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. It's like lovebirds, kind of. All right. Okay. Second panel. Yeah, another way to look at your image flipped, if you're doing traditional, is if you don't have a mirror handy, is actually, this depends on what kind of paper you're using. If you're using very thin paper or thin enough paper, you can kind of hold it up to the window on a sunny day or a light, and you can kind of like hold your image, like let's say this is the sun and you're holding up your image like this. Oh my god, I cannot stick figure. You're holding up your image like this, right? So your drawing can be on this side, and then this is the blank side, right? The blank side, and then, you know, the line shines through, and then you can see your art kind of flipped that way as well. Sometimes I do that for my watercolor art.
That's a great tip. We did have a question like, what if you're in math class or something doodling and you don't have a mirror? That's exactly what you can do. You can hold it up to the light, those fluorescent lights in math class.
Yes, just make sure your teacher doesn't see that. I feel like I just know there's something wrong with him right here, anatomically speaking, but it's good enough for now. A lot of people have. Yep, go on.
No, go ahead. Please finish what you were
saying. No, I was just gonna make a joke about how my hands, like, people have same face syndrome, which I do too, but I also have same hand syndrome because I only ever use my own hands as reference. So all these hands that you see in my comics, they're my hands.
That's amazing. I never thought about that, but I think a lot of artists probably deal with that because we are just using
ourselves, as reference.
That's great. We are hitting the 10-minute mark, so we have about 10 minutes left of our drawing session.
Okay.
Feel free to keep drawing, January, but I'm going to ask the audience that if you did have specific questions that you would like to ask this creator today, please drop them in the chat and I'll make sure to highlight them. So I'll just verbally speak these out, January, as they pop in. Kiki Blue asks, has studying to be a doctor helped you with anatomy to an extent?
Not at all. You would think, no, because anatomy requires constant practice. When you're in I didn't technically go to a med school. I was in pre-med, so I was studying molecular biology and biochemistry. So first of all, there weren't any anatomy classes that I took. But secondly, even if there were, my anatomy only got better because I went to life drawing. You have to constantly go to life drawing and just keep literally live practice is the only way to improve.
Great tip.
Did not help. Med school did not help.
Oh, there was a follow-up question to that, which is, that's a pretty big career transition. And at Webtoon, we actually, a lot of team members, a lot of creators make career transitions from areas either within similar art careers or sometimes, from med school, like you, not as related to art. What gave you the courage to stick with that change, January? Because that can be very overwhelming for folks.
Blind faith, I guess. And also, I am privileged enough to have my circumstances allowed me to make a career change. I had a very supportive family, very supportive friends. And so I was able to be like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna throw away 4 years of my life and start from scratch. So there's a bit of courage in it, a bit of luck, and also kind of your own self-discipline, because I have no family members in arts. I don't know anybody. I didn't know anybody in arts when I made this career change. So you really had to, I had to practice a lot because my art was just not good enough to be accepted into animation school at that time. So you really have to have self-discipline as well when you make such a big career change to something you have no idea about.
That took a lot of courage. Yeah, a lot of courage, a lot of self-discipline. And I relate to that too. I think a lot of people do. Both my husband and myself are the only people in our family that do art. So I think it's very common for folks in the Webtoon community to make that career leap. Yeah, just have faith in yourself. Believe in your stories. Believe in your characters. There's another question here. Do you have a different drawing process or drawing or painting process for backgrounds versus characters?
Yes, I do. So professionally speaking, I do draw comics for a living too, but I also am a background designer for animated shows and stuff. And so yes, that does require a very different process. And it depends on the styles, I guess. So for Bailin and Li Yun, backgrounds is not the main focus of what I'm doing. So sometimes I would just use Blender and block out do I have examples? No, I don't have examples, but I would block out a very rough kind of design of room, and then I would just take screenshots, and then I would literally just kind of trace over those lines, maybe add a few designs here and there to speed up the drawing process. Yeah, and then Bailin and Li Yun is really simple, but for more complicated stuff like Fathoms of Atonement, which is a completely different style, I don't know what I was thinking when I started that one. That one, sometimes it takes me 2 days to paint out a full background, and then I would take screenshots of different areas and blur them to cheat for some of the panels. Yeah.
That's a great process. Yeah, the blur effect is awesome to, as you said, kind of cheat on your backgrounds a little once you've done it once.
Mm-hmm.
there were some questions too. You mentioned that you work on animations. Are you able to share maybe the names of any animations that we could watch? You have a lot of fans in the room today.
Yeah, sure, but I don't think you can like tell which part I did. So Last Kids on Earth was my first gig. Last Kids on Earth. It's a very graphic style. That's kind of, you can kind of see a bit of that influencing The Reaper and the Waiting, actually, because I was working on that at the same time I was working on Last Kids. And then I was on Genlock, which went on HBO Max. But then something happened, and then that show got taken off. So I don't know if you guys can see it. And then the most recent one I was on, most of you have probably heard of, is Dragon Prince. I was the background designer and matte painter for some of the scenes. So there was you will never know which scenes I did, but then like some of the castles or backgrounds or paintings, I drew some of those. So
that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I think someone has seen Last Kids on Earth, so definitely exciting to know. Yeah, that you worked on that.
Yeah, that one. That was my first background design gig, and it kind of ruined the way I could draw backgrounds, because I did not go into animation wanting to be a background designer, but I got that job, and it was my first experience doing backgrounds. And so it kind of like, it was the only way I could draw backgrounds, like that graphic style with no contrast, no values, no nothing. Like that was the only way I could draw backgrounds for years. And I was so stuck in it. It was so annoying until I got onto Dragon Prince. And yes, Dragon Prince was some of you seen, it's like beautiful style. And so that's where I kind of had to level up in my skills.
That's amazing. Yeah, there is someone in the chat who is a huge fan of the Dragon Prince, and the backgrounds and environments have always been an inspiration for her. So we can see how you embrace that. It's so great to hear about your experiences in the animation industry as well. There is one other question in the chat I think is very important. One that I'm seeing is, how long did it take for you to get somewhat decent at art, to feel confident enough to start, sharing your work?
I don't know. I know some people are shy about posting their artwork online. I've never been shy. I just post it because I know most people who interact with it, I don't know them, like frankly speaking. So I don't, if they don't like it, then I know, okay, I need to improve. If they like it, then it's great. I'm going in the right direction. So I've been posting art online since like 2012. And I guess it's like feeling confident about your art. It's like always a balance between feeling like needing to improve, but not to the point where you get toxically negative about yourself. So sorry, what was the question again? Like how long did it take you to get confident from when you started? Because you mentioned jumping from med school, making the career transition. So were you drawing while you were actively in med school? Or was this something that you developed as a goal and then you had to kind of towards that? I think I don't know if that's ever actually been like a problem for me. Like I've never really thought about it. I just draw and then I post it. And so I know some people struggle with their confidence in their art, but I just don't even think about it. I just draw. I have a goal, I draw, and I post. And that's kind of my process. Like, it's not really something I ever think about. Yeah.
I really admire your confidence. Yeah, that's it.
That's confidence. It's just, I just don't think about it. It's like one less thing I need to worry about.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we are at time, but there is one other question that's very relevant for today's live drawing session, which is what made you want to create Bailin and Li Yun? I think you mentioned that it was influenced by a mermaid prompt. Is that correct?
Yes. What made me... it was 3 years ago, so I don't remember much of why, but I do remember drew the first page of Bailin and Li Yun as like a sort of like a concept kind of little thing for mermaid. It like every May there's the art challenge and you just draw a bunch of mermaids, and that year I hadn't drawn anything for mermaid. It was near the end of the month and I was like, I need to get something out. So and at that time I was obsessed with this white hair character. I don't remember which one, but I was like, I want to draw a white hair mermaid, right? And then I wanted to well, he can't be alone, he's got to have a partner, he's got to have someone fated for him. So and then I just drew Li Yun, who's supposed to be like a very relatable kind of average guy, which is why I gave him spiky hair. And yeah, and then people really liked it, and I was like, I guess these could be my OCs. And then so that's how it kind of went. Yeah, it wasn't one thing. Yeah, it was kind of circumstances.
Kind of falling in love with them after you created them from a prompt. I absolutely so fun.
I know it's the time, so I did draw a finished version of this.
So, wow! Oh my gosh, sweet. Whoa!
So this is what it's supposed to look like if I had been faster. Yeah.
That's amazing. And so cute. It's so cute. What a fun concept. I feel like we saw magic happen here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, January. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, your favorite brushes, your personal artistic insights, how you gain influence from different things, and where you find inspiration. This was just such a fantastic live drawing session. Everyone in the chat is hearing those same thoughts. Thank you so much. This was really inspiring. Everybody really enjoyed this.
Thank you for inviting me, and thanks everyone for all the love and support. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. We really appreciate you too, January. And as a personal fan too, it was very fun to sit in on your session and see the magic happen.
Thank you, Kirsten. I really appreciate that.